All right, here we go. Bantamweight division. Wanted to talk about it a little more after last week's Abu Dhabi card where Umar Nurmagomedov got the upset win. Maybe not upset, but he was the favorite, and he beat Corey Sandhagen. Many were expecting Sandhagen to win, or at least put up a better fight than he did. Sean O'Malley, champion. Merab Dvalishvili, number one contender. They're fighting at the Sphere. Umar Nurmagomedov moves up 8 freaking spaces, even though he basically was unranked. Peter Yan, number 3. Corey Sandhagen slid down 2 spots. Davison Figueiredo moved up a spot to 5. You could argue that he should be deserving of that 4 spot, if not the 3rd spot after his win over Cheeto. Henry Cejudo went down a spot. Marlon Vera dropped a couple spots. Song Yadong, Jose Aldo, Rob Font's in there. Kyler Phillips, Mario Bautista, Dominic Cruz, Jonathan Martinez, and Montel Jackson. That's the rankings. I wanted to talk about what's next, because Sean O'Malley's fighting Merab. And they're saying that Umar, no doubt, gets the number 1 contenders, or he gets that spot because he just beat, in a number 1 contenders fight, Corey Sandhagen. I think Peter Yan and Davison Figueiredo should fight next, and you can base it off the rankings, especially since Davison allegedly is not getting the title fight after this, even though he deserves it because he beat Cheeto, he beat Rob Font, and he beat Cody Garbrandt, who's just outside the rankings. But what's next for Corey is my question, because Corey is still a big-time player in the division. Cheeto is also a big-time player. Who are they going to fight next? Because I think Corey, he's already fought Song Yadong. I don't really need to see him fight Henry Cejudo. I think somebody interesting like Kyler Phillips, but he's already scheduled. You could do the Henry Cejudo fight. That's probably what they're going to do next. Get the 2 guys that are on losing streaks, get somebody a win, get the 2 older guys, get one of them a win. But what I want to see, and what needs to happen next, because it's going to establish them as a legitimate number 1 contender, no doubt, is Peter Yan and Davison Figueiredo. Peter Yan was on a big skid with a couple of losses, but he bounced back against Song Yadong at 299. And Davison Figueiredo has been on the tear. 2 shorter guys, 2 guys that are going to sling it out, box it out. Fun, interesting matchup that has meaning to the division. I'm not so sure Umar really deserves it. I am leaning towards Sean O'Malley beating him. If we look at the rankings, who does Umar really beat here? Does he beat a Merab? Maybe he beats Merab because of the striking and the overall takedown defense, takedown ability, submission grappling ability. Sure. But I think somebody shorter with stocky takedown defense, with good solid punching, who's aggressive in the pocket, that's Peter Yan. That's a Song Yadong. That's a, I don't know, Henry Cejudo, who has great takedown defense. He doesn't have to withstand 1,000 takedowns coming down the hill from Merab. Umar doesn't have that kind of capability, I don't think. Although he's a great fighter, he's got great skill, I really respect him, he's got all the talent in the world, I think he's going to be a champion. But just not yet. I think he's still working his way up there. So I want to see Corey versus Kyler Phillips, and I want to see Figueiredo versus Peter Yan. In the aftermath, I want to see Cheeto. I don't know, maybe he takes on a Song Yadong or a Mario Bautista, Jonathan Martinez type, because I think he's getting a lot of crap online about his performance. That dude just needs to freaking go, dude. He just needs to move. All he needs to do is move. He's got all the finishing, dangerous ability that you could want in a fighter. He just doesn't let it go. He just lets it sit back. He says, I'm not getting beat up. I'll find the finish at some point. And then he loses the fight. Rematch with Jose Aldo, maybe. Jose's kind of at the end of his career. We don't really need to see that. Let me know what you guys think, because I think we got some interesting matchups. We got some guys coming up through the rankings. Rob Font, I think, is taking on Kyler Phillips. That'll be a good one. Rob Font, solid veteran, always been there. Nobody to sneeze at. You can't just get past a Song Yadong. You can't just get past a Jose Aldo. You can't just get past a Rob Font. These guys are mainstays in the division. Cheeto is a mainstay in the division, and if you can't beat him, you don't deserve to be in the top 10. Is he as good as we think he was? We were probably overhyping him when he was going into the fight against Sean O'Malley, overhyping him after his finish over Dominic Cruz, but Dominic Cruz was piecing him up in their fight. And I know I'm kind of just rambling here, talking about the Bantamweight division, But as a division that is as stacked as this, we should be getting good fights all the time. Matchups that make sense, not just the old guys versus the old guys, but contenders versus old guys versus guys that are hungry, guys that can turn them around. Like, remember the Dustin Poirier fight over Benoit Saint-Denis? Saint-Denis just didn't have it for him that night. Yes, he was fighting with staph infection, but he wasn't ready for that top of the division. Let's see who's got it, because Kyler Phillips has a dangerous striking acumen. Somebody like Marlon Vera is also dangerous, but does he have what it takes to fight anymore? Does Corey have what it takes to fight, or is he going to get run over by a Mario Bautista or Kyler Phillips because they're hungry and they're aggressive and Corey wants to make things too perfect and stay at range and, talk about how perfect striking is and what it means and the philosophy of striking? I love Corey, man, don't get me wrong, but I want to see these guys challenged. I want to see this division come alive, because I feel like Sean O'Malley is not going to be the most active champion. And that's okay if the rest of the division continues to move forward. Deiveson Figueiredo versus Peter Yan. Heck, get that on the November MSG card, or get it done in December. Don't wait too long to get that fight done. I know Peter Yan's coming off a knee injury. Figueiredo just had a banger fight against Marlon Vera. He's probably a little nicked up. Let's get that one put together. Let's do Corey versus a Mario Bautista, Kyler Phillips, and maybe even Jonathan Martinez if we want to go that far back, because he doesn't deserve to go higher in the rankings. Fighter Peter Yan again. Not interested in that matchup. I'm excited. The next year, 6 months, if they get these matchups cooking, we'll have some stuff to talk about in the bantamweight division. We'll have some contenders. We might have some new blood. We might have some guys moving out of there. Cheeto, Corey might be moving down in the rankings. These guys are killers on the come-up. Don't doubt them. Next month, at the Sphere, Sean O'Malley, Merab Dvalishvili. It's kind of the next big bantamweight matchup. Let's see what happens, guys.